Hello everyone, welcome to my fashion point of view. In today's video, we're going to be drafting the basic gown. The basic gown serves as a foundation piece in fashion. It is more like the base for creating more elaborate designs. The basic gown is often made from fabrics like cotton. It has simple necklines like the round neckline, the square neckline, or the V neckline. It could be sleeveless or may have a plain sleeve. So here are the required body measurements to draft a basic gown. So for this tutorial, our shoulder measurement is 14.5. The shoulder to bust point is 10 inches. Our half length is 16.5. The shoulder to hip line is 25.5 inches. Shoulder to the knee line or the gown length is 36 inches. The bust circumference is 36 inches. The waist circumference is 30 inches. The hip circumference is 43 inches. So now there's a measurement that is not explained on the chart there, which is the chest line measurement. And this you can get your chest line measurement by dividing your bust measurement by 6 plus 2.5. This is a standard for everyone, every bust type. You can use that to get your chest line measurement. Having explained the measurements, let's get into the drafting. We will be drafting half of the front pattern and half of the back pattern. This will make up for the full front of our basic gown and the back as well. This is why our horizontal measurement is divided by 4. That is our bust circumference, our waist circumference, and our hip circumference. So the length of my pattern paper is my gown length, and the width of my pattern paper is the biggest part of my measurement, my horizontal measurement, which is my hip in this case. And my hip is 43 inches, and 43 inches divided by 4 is 10.75, and plus 3 inches for ease is 13.75. So I added ease, so I don't want the paper to be the exact measurement. So let's begin with the shoulder measurement, which is 14.5 divided by 2, 37.25. The shoulder measurement is usually divided by 2. Yeah, so we mark that out. Next, we take the chest line from shoulder to chest line, which is 8.5. The chest line, remember, is the bust divided by 6 plus 2.5. So we mark that across. So now it's time for us to take the shoulder to our bust point, which is 10 inches. We mark that across as well. Okay, so now I have shoulder to half length, which is 16.5 inches. So our shoulder to our hip line, which is 25.5. So we mark that across as well. So these are all our horizontal lines. I'm going to label them. So let us take our neckline width and depth. We'll be marking 3 inches for our neck depth and also 3 inches for our neck width. So this is the 3x3 round neckline, is a standard for the basic gown. So our next step is to mark our 7.25 shoulder measurements on our chest line. This is just to get a straight line so we can get our arm side. The arm side is a curved edge that will help us to get the outline for our armhole where the sleeve will sit. Okay, so let's mark our shoulder slope by coming down by 1.5 inches on the straight line and connecting it to the tip of the neck width. The shoulder slope is important because the distance from the tip of our neck to our shoulder is not entirely straight. To plot our armhole, we'll be dividing this line into two. Note that this is after the slope mark. You mark the midpoint like so, and then on the midpoint, we'll be coming out by 0.75, and we connect from that point to the shoulder tip. So we'll be using the curve to connect that shortly, but let's take our horizontal measurements. So my bust measurement is 36 inches. So 36 inches divided by 4 is 9. So I'm going to be adding 0.5 for ease. So that's 9.5. So at this point, let's connect our armhole. All right. So before we proceed, I think we have to label this out, label our horizontal lines. So this is our chest line. Okay. So this is our bust point, our waist or half length, and this is the hip line, and this is the gown length. Our waist measurement is 30 divided by 4, which is 7.5. So we're going to be adding 1.5 to this for our dart intake. So we mark that out and connect it to the chest line. Then for our hip measurement, it's 43 inches divided by 4. We're getting 10.75. So we mark that as well, and we connect it to the waistline. You can see how I'm placing my curve around that hip area. So we're going to be replacing, placing the figure we got for our hip on the gown length, because this is just a basic dress. Okay, so we use a straight ruler to connect that like so. So to plot out that, we're going to use a bust span measurement of 7.5, and this is divided into 2, and this gives us 3.75. And I'm going to mark that out on our bust point line, our waist or half length line, on our hip line as well. So we're going to be coming out by 0.75. You remember we added 1.5 to our waist measurement, so that is why we're doing that for our dart intake, and I connect that like so. Back to the bust point. The 0.75 is taken on both sides of that line. Then we extend the line down to the hip line mark where we did our 3.75. So we connect that like that. So to plot the dart out, we're going to come up by 2 inches on that line and mark it like so and connect it back to the waistline. Okay, so that is complete, and this is it for the front part of the basic gown. So let's move over to the back pattern. So the difference between the front and the back pattern is the neck depth for the back and the back tightening to control zipper bulge and 1 inch shoulder slope. Okay, so let's place a shoulder measurement of 7.25. Remember that's our shoulder measurement. So we mark that out like so. And then we take our chest line, 8.5. So next we're going to take our shoulder to a half length, which is 16.5. We mark that across as well. So next is our shoulder to our hip line. Remember we took 25.5 for our shoulder to hip line. We mark that across. This is just the same thing with a little difference for the back. Then the gown length, which is the hem. So that's the gown length, the hip line, the half length of waistline, and our chest line. So next we're going to take our neck width of 3 inches and our neck depth of 1 inch. And we're going to connect that with a curve like so. Okay, so for the tightening which controls the zipper bulge, we're going to do 1 inch from the waist, and we'll connect that to the neck depth like so, and also down to the hip line. Okay, so to plot an armhole for the back, we're going to do the same thing we did for the front. We're going to mark our 7.25, which is our shoulder measurement of the chest line, and connect that to that point just to get a straight line. Then we come down by 1 inch for our shoulder slope, and then we connect that to our neck width. So now let's take our bust measurement. A bust measurement of 9.5. Notice that I'm taking this measurement away from the back tightening line. So for our armhole curve, we're going to be dividing this line into 2 equal halves. Then we mark the midpoint, come out by 0.5, like so. Then we connect that to a straight line, and then we use our curve, like so. So our waist measurement is 30 divided by 4, which is 7.5. So I'm going to be taking extra 1 inch for our dart intake. I'm going to be doing 0.5 on both sides for our dart, so 1 inch extra. So I'm going to connect that to, here's my bust point. Then now we take our hip of 10.75 inches and use our curve to connect that to the waistline. So like we did for the front, we just replace that on the gown length or the hem. And with a straight line, we connect. So time to take our dart intake. So remember 3.75 bust span measurement. So we take that away from the tightening line. So you can see me taking it away from the tightening line. So if you take everything into consideration, you see the measurement there. To make a straight line, you can use all of that to mark on your chest line to form a straight line. This is just for you to get a straight line, like so. So we're going to be coming out by ½ inch on both sides for dart intake. Then we come down by 1 inch on from the chest line, then 1.5 from the hip line to plot our dart. It is that simple. So we're almost done with this. Okay, so that is that. We're done with the back pattern. You can see how simple it is. So we're going to cut around those lines. So for a plus size, you can use 1 inch dart intake on both sides for the front and 0.75 dart intake for both sides for the back pattern. So thank you for watching. I hope you learned a thing or two. So if you found any part of this tutorial helpful, kindly give us a thumbs up by liking this video and also hit the subscribe button. So until our next tutorial, bye for now.